Hey everybody, and welcome back to episode 17 of this gradient mesh tutorial where we draw this face realistically or as realistically as we choose or want to or try to. But anyway, last time on the last episode we left off with me completing the blending of the eye layer that I was working on, this back layer right here. And I was going back and forth, up and down, and blending all my points and making sure all my color is nice and smooth. And I think we have a really good resemblance of the shape that we need inside this circle shape. But now what we have to do is we have to make sure that these edges don't look harsh against our background face base plate, our background layer. And the way to do that is just like we did with the nose. We're going to have to drop opacities, and we're also going to have to mess with both layers, the colors on the edge points, and maybe even the points within the second boundary. But we're going to do what we're going to have to do to get these edges to be a little bit cleaner. And then I think once we have those edges disappearing, the layer will look really good inside that inside this base plate that we got on this face. It's looking really painted. I think it's looking really nice. I just overall just like the look. But anyway, got to drop some opacity. So I'm going to start by taking these edge points, and I'm going to select the color that is closest to that point. And before I drop opacities, this is going to be my first way of blending and trying to get rid of that edge. And usually these edge points don't have a huge impact on the color of the mesh. They usually are, you can see that it's changing very little in comparison to the, the interior of the mesh. And now what the shadow is right here is probably going to be this face layer. Yeah, so it is. So I might have to mess with this line, the shadow right here. But for now, let's just go around the whole entire eye and do one step at a time. On these clusters of points, I'm going to start grabbing them in groups because they're just so close. So I'm not just going to waste time selecting 4 points on top of each other. I'm just going to grab them all. So now it seems these points are actually doing a decent amount of impact onto my interior mesh. So we'll see if I have to create a boundary point. Or if dropping the opacity will really save me on there. Alright, so now that I made it all the way around the eye, I do see a little bit of feathering because we did do some blending, but we definitely need some more. And what we're going to need to do is, I think the first thing I'm going to do is change this, change this shadow that I'm seeing over here. I don't want a shadow there. I want about that tone. Maybe even like that tone. Yeah, so that's a good tone. And then back to our eye layer. I'm going to, let's see. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to drop opacity. Alright, so I went around the whole eye layer, and I think again it definitely looks better than before, but we still have some edges that we need to basically just generally blend out, trend them out. I see a little bit of a problem over here. The shadow kind of creates a boxy look with this eye layer, and then we just have and then over here, it definitely needs some correction. I might need to make another point up in here because I think I might need to drop that opacity there, and have it blend a little bit more. or maybe drop this opacity by 50% on this line or something like that. But for the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and take my face layer and then blend it to the color now of the eye layer. Alright, so I'm going to lock my eye layer. So here's my face layer mesh, and if I do quickly unlock my eye layer, we can see that I am overlaying similarly. So I'm just going to do a little bit of blending on the face layer, on the eye layer right here. So I'm just going to take these points and try and match it, whatever shade I need to. And where I'm looking is right here. I'm looking for this harsh edge. We just want to watch our opacity when we're eyedropping, because if I select unless I change that effect of the eyedropper, which I probably could. If I just take away transparency, there we go. So if you have that turned on, I would turn it off. By doing that, you double click the eyedropper and you can basically turn off what it selects. So in this case, because I dropped opacity on the edges that I'm trying to select the color on, and in the areas that is dropped in opacity, I don't want to select 50% opacity. I don't want to select 0% opacity. I want to keep these background points at 100% opacity, or else I'm going to start seeing through the face and I'll see the background through the face, and we don't want that. We want the face to be a solid shape. But I'm going around the face layer right now and trying to select points on my face layer to match the color on the eye layer, because now I need to blend the two together. And I'm just trying to eliminate seeing that edge. Anywhere I see the edge, I'm trying to get rid of it. So I turn the eye to outline mode because I want to see what points are going to be visible. So when I change the color on the face, I could see it under the eye layer that's covering it. So sometimes I just get a little loss of where the color is, you know, because it is kind of blended well. I just don't want to get any, I don't want the color to blend too fast, and that's going to create this imaginary line. So I'm just going to jump back to the eye layer right now. I do need to blend these colors though. I'm actually going to add a point here because I need an edge. I need a point over here to color the blend over here better. Plus I need to drop this opacity to 0, which it is. Alright, so the problem areas in my opinion right now are right over here. Let's see, possibly up here, and definitely down here. So I gotta keep fixing this stuff. So I'm pulling these points down because I need it to, I need the change from this point to the point before it, these points on this line, to happen more gradually. Because I'm going to match these points to the face. And then from there, it will blend to the actual eye layer. So I'm hoping to create that harsh change I'm hoping to stop that harsh change of color from the actual edge of the eye layer to the face layer. And I'm hoping by giving a little playroom on the edges, it's going to do that for me. So as you can see, we have to do a lot of surgery right now. And now I'm doing the blending technique from left to right to left to right to really transition from eye layer to face much more smoothly. And I think it really was starting to work out right over there. You can't even see that line, that crossover at all. I do see a little bit color variation that I don't like, but we're gonna fix that up. So we're really working those points. This really isn't a quick process. I'm just fast forwarding it because there's just so much clicking that I can't even like explain. I'm just blending the colors where I feel like they need to be blended. Like I said, you need to blend with some thought. You can't just start blending everything. Be like, where do you think the blending needs to improve? Like, why does it need to improve? Is there a missing point? Because right there was. Because I didn't have any color that's coming from there, and I needed some color source to be in the middle, because then I can't like rely from this point to this point to blend all of this color the same, because this has multiple points. This is different. This is blending differently, so I need more points on that edge. So we need to make sure that we're thinking about where our harsh edges are and what we could do to fix that. I just don't like this shadow. I don't know where the shadow is coming from. I would say the parts that you need to do surgery on the drawing, like the parts like we have to sew together, that's going to be more of the more tedious work, more thoughtful work, more of the annoying work. Once you get the drawing of the shapes down and the mesh down, it kind of just comes naturally, but when you have to blend these shapes together, it kind of becomes a task, because it's not very easy to blend two shapes together perfectly. There won't be any perfect, but you have to make sure that an audience might be like, why is there a sharp line there? Like, why is that looking like that? We're definitely getting somewhere now. So I really don't have any harsh edges really until over here. I'd say I still have to fix. I'm gonna bring back some opacity. I'm gonna go back to the face layer because I just don't know why there's a shadow. I gotta get rid of this small shadow right here. Going back to the eye layer now. I'm gonna bring back all the opacity over here. And then maybe I have to drop it down again, but I'm just gonna bring it back and see if I could figure out why I have this small little crescent moon shaped shadow over here. I would say it's fairly gone. I'm actually going to go back now, drop the opacities again, now that I have my color, I think, situated, and see if that's going to fix it or make it worse. I would say it did pretty well. I'd say I've got to fix this down here. I'm not really sure. Maybe it's coming from the face. Possible. Let me control click all these points and then try and match it to the eye layer. I'm going to do a little bit of the blending technique. I would say it's looking pretty good in general. Let me hide the eye layer. So that was before, that's after. So definitely touched it up, gave it some more dimension, some more purpose, and I think the only thing I want to do is figure out this highlight right here on the eye layer. You always want to select points together when they're so close like that, or else it's going to give you a weird choppy look. Doing a little bit of blending right now. Alright, so this is what we have right now. That's without the nose layer, and this is without the eye layer. Alright, so we're going to hide the face layer, bring back the background. We're going to put on the face. Face. Nose. Eye. Big difference, right? And we're really building it together. And again, it's not going to be 100% perfect, but we do have something that looks really real and really smooth and almost surreal and gives it a really nice painted look. And you can always be more detailed if you'd like to, but this is, I think, as much detail as far as I would want to go as far as skin tone and just skin in general. But I would say from this point on, I think I'm ready to go into the next eye layer and just keep moving forward with this. So let me make a new layer and just call it eye layer 1. And I'm just going to continue drawing. But before we draw some more, we're going to end this episode here. So thank you for watching. My name is Mark DiMattei. You can find me at MarkDarts on Instagram. That's MARKD_ARTS, MarkDarts. We're getting there, so stay tuned. Watch the next one, please. Thanks for making it this far. I'll see you on the next one.